Welcome to this week's episode of Esports Wrap. I'm your host, Michael Armogan, and I'm getting a lot of feedback from someone.
Oh, it's probably my phone. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
It's hot. Sorry. So go ahead.
Dude, I am dying in here. I turned off the fan on purpose. Like, if I can deal with this, you can deal with this.
I actually have my fan just like pointing like to the side here. I'm not really getting anything. I'm just kind of like feeling the breeze bounce off of something.
How many of you are 6'4", about 300 pounds? Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right,
Okay.
all right.
Fair enough.
See that
starting back
like to
onto
call...
starting back onto the actual show because I can't respond to that. Welcome to this week's episode of Esports Wrap. I'm your host, Michael Armogan. And with us today, we have two very special guests. Our first one is Nallyboyray, who's apparently also hosting us right now, and Omegasempaii. And thank you guys.
It's just Omega. The senpai part is just a bit cringy at this point. I really think it's changing sometimes.
I probably should have asked.
I'm no senpai. I'm no guru. Just me.
Sensei.
All right.
By the way, thank you for following Queen Victoria, Avi, and Hangam for following, along with Terry Fold, CEO, Tatiana Janish. Thank you guys for following. Now, just to start things off, and so everyone actually gets to know you guys a little bit more. Nally, when would you say that you've started playing Hearthstone?
A friend, Sean Blah, decided he wanted to get his free Shaman Hero, and he was like, yo, just sign up, play 20 games, and let me get this. I was like, alright, no problem. I played it.
Your boy under the bus, just like that.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Alright, cool. I played it, and instantly I was like, game fucking challenging, boy. I need to keep at this. Like, I need to keep at this. And ever since, I've been hooked. I've ordered a few packs. It was definitely worth it. They say it's
a few
pay to win.
hundred, he means. A few hundred.
Yeah, a few packs. But they say it's pay to win, but that's not necessarily true. You gotta know how to play. You gotta know how to understand. So you can't just buy packs and win. It helps, but there's definitely an underlying skill that I've come to learn, and that's definitely got me hooked on the game.
So what about you, Omega?
Oh, where do I even start? Oh my goodness. I actually started during the beta. It was just a wild ride from there. So basically, during that time, I thought to myself, okay, this is something I could get into. I didn't really like it at first, but then I thought, you know what? I'm gonna give this a try. It was almost like League. I gave the same treatment to the League. So I just go on and off a little bit, because I didn't really have any, money to go into it at first. But then slowly, I decided to just be patient and just collect the cards, and that's another route you can go on. So I decided to do that. Then the first season came out. I decided to play during that season. The highest I got was gold, the gold Lilo. So that was about it. And then seasons the seasons following that, I actually got further and further. And during season 3 was when it was during the time when people were starting to realize that if you use a lot more aggressive decks, you can actually start winning more. So what I did was I copied this deck list off of a website. That's one of the first times I decided to net deck, and I made a face hunter. I was that kind of person that decided, I just want to, get somewhere. Believe it or not, it actually worked really well. I had nearly a 90% win rate just using Face Hunter during season 3. It was amazing. And I also felt really dirty doing it at the time. And that was when I got Legend for the first time. oh, when I got that, it was like meeting a whole new set of people, but it was almost like it's a whole new set, just having to deal with people. It was basically everyone had all the cards, everyone played so slow you couldn't realize it, and it was then that I realized, okay, I may be legend, but I am nowhere near as good as I thought I'd be. So then I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna just try to play a little bit more decks, a little bit more variety, and see if I can get to legend some other way. And I did that, but I just ended up playing a lot of mage after that. So I did play a lot of the other classes, but it was only because of quests and arena and all that jazz. So I played mage back to back to back, and then it was only until like at season 9 when I was able to get legend again, but I was using freeze mage at the time. So right after that, I realized, okay, I get a bit more of the understanding of how TCG, or in this case CCG, works. So after that I decided, you know what, I'm just going to give it my all to just practice every single class, try to learn each class and see the ins and outs and intricacies and simplicities and that kind of stuff. And so far I've been doing all of that. It's paid off. I feel like I have more information on every class than I've ever had with just 1 or 2 classes, because I actually became more diverse. So it has its merits, but it has its demerits. The reason being is because you won't get to legend as fast, and you won't be able to be exactly where everyone else is as fast, because you're spreading all of your resources to each class instead of just 1 or 2 classes. Make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
From then on, I just decided to do that. I had fun. Well, I'm having fun, but it's the fun factor has been on and off, following each and every expansion, because the fun is there, and then sorry, the fun is just there until you realize, oh, okay, yeah, there's still some high tier cards, high tier decks that are still being used, and it's no fun on ladder anymore. So I just, yeah, it's just on and off from there. So that's just been me. I'm just playing a lot of arena, a lot of other classes, just having fun at this point.
Okay. Well, to start things off just a little bit, since you guys have now done your introductions, for those who are unaware of what Hearthstone is, Hearthstone is a trading card game, but it's done digitally. There are no actual physical copies like you may have seen with such games like Pokemon, Magic of the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, and other games along that line. So what this is a game made by Blizzard, also which parent company is Activision, but it's pretty much based off of World of Warcraft's characters, some of their heroes. Some of the heroes are not actual heroes, but I guess that depends on your own point of view. So overall, though, the game it's been around since 2014. It started off with Windows in March 11, 2014. I'm getting some background noise again.
Sorry. I gotta keep away from the fan. Sorry.
Moved over to iOS in April 2014, and then finally came over to Android in December 2014. There are single player modes, which are not many, and the game is mainly focused on player versus player aspects. Like Omega would have said, there is the casual. There is there's arena, and then there's the casual, and then there's the ranking versions of the game, along with the solo class missions. The most recent one would have been Wrath of the Lich King's version, or Knights of the Frozen Throne, as it's called for Hearthstone. where you fight against one of the villains from World of Warcraft to unlock certain characters, a new hero, and the expansion itself brought corrupted versions of our favorite heroes. Overall, though,
instead of actually making the whole Death Knight class,
which I feel was a complete cop-out, but some people are liking the Death Knight classes, even though they don't really make a whole lot of sense, in my personal opinion.
You think? Sorry.
It's fine. Like, I still don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. Back in May, Hearthstone has also broke the all-time daily active player metrics with the previous expansion of the game. So the one right before Knights of the Frozen Throne was Journey to Ungoro, which was a pretty big thing when it first came out. So what it says is that for the first quarter ended March 31st, 2017, Activision's Blizzard's net revenues presented in accordance with the GAAP were a quarter one record of $1.73 billion as compared to 46 billion for the first quarter of 2006. So that's a 19% increase. But not only that, it seemed to be growing 50% year over year. And let's see, where exactly does it come up to the users? Activision Blizzard had 431 million monthly active users in the first quarter of the year, which is...
Well, that's why you counted Legend.
Which is really insane. That was actually the biggest quarter one online player community in history. Well, they had their biggest one of 41 million. And then Overwatch continues to be the fastest growing franchise for them. But at least up to that point. So, for those of you who are tuning in now, there are some changes that are going to be happening to the game. And they've been announced as of today, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So...
What a day. What a day to be alive, huh?
Some of these are actually fairly controversial. Overall, the ones that are really changing are Innervate, Fiery War Axe, Hex, Murloc War Leader, and Spreading Plague. The changes overall are... I'm getting some some feedback. Does anyone have me on speaker by any chance?
No.
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 Okay.
If you hear wind, that's me.
I'm actually hearing wind right now. But
Where?
Innervate before was a 0 mana card, mana being the method of cost for playing a card. What its ability allowed you to do is gain 2 mana crystals for that turn only. That has been reduced down to 1 mana. Now, a lot of people are calling this particular deck these particular changes the Druid Killer. Now, okay, what has gone on? Now, what's your guys feeling about this? About the Innervate changes, I should say.
So who's gonna start, me or you?
I'll let the senior man go first.
Alright. First off, this is my opinion. I completely disagree that it's Druid Killer. Reason one, it's just Innervate. Innervate can, yes, it's prevalent in a lot of decks, but it's still that the card is still there. It would have made more sense if you just put Innervate in Wild, because there's so much you can do with it, and it's so much that it's put in so many decks. So it's obvious that it's way too strong for what it is. But I really think that even if it's still to 1 mana, it'll see some play. It'll see some play still. But it's not as powerful as the most recent Druid card that's been added to the collection, which is Ultimate Infestation. So when you compare Innervate to something like that, do you really think it's as influential as it is right now, as you think it is right now?
Compared to Ultimate Infestation?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The fact that you could turn 6, double Innovate into Infestation, which free, let's just say if you had 5 cards in hand, frees up 2 slots, so you still have a remainder 2 slots. Or if by turn 10 you have Innovate in hand, you can deal damage, all the goody two shoe, plus have 4 additional mana that you could play into something else. So, like, just reading the notes that they have left on it, Innervate was supposed to be refresh 2 mana crystals, gain 2 mana crystals this turn only, and increase the cost by 1, or gain 6 mana and increase the cost by 4. All of those would have been bad ideas. I'm glad they decided to just take one away, because that would have broken Druid completely. I don't need turn 4, they gain an additional 6. Or, like, no. No, boo-boo. No, let's keep it family friendly. But in terms of the notes that they had for Ultimate Infestation, they said that they were considering making all the 5 mentions 4, which was okay. I could see that being a better play, but because they said that it was one of the middle played cards, not only one of the most. Innervate is actually one of their most played cards that leads up to playing Ultimate Infestation, which kind of proved my point. Because Innervate allowed you to turn 6. I mean, God forbid if you ramped while your opponent's on turn 3 to turn 6, then Innervate into Ultimate Infestation. You can't stop that. Like, okay, you already have the ability to ramp, but let's dial it back just a little bit to make it fair. Because the only thing a mage could do turn 3 when you're on turn 10 is Ice Block to stay alive. That's the only thing they could consider doing. And counter spell only served a purpose after the fact, because unless you cabal Lackey into that to even help, maybe you'll get one Innervate, the other one's still there. Like, I for one applaud them for nerfing it, because it's an OP card, and I think why they didn't send it to Wild is because it's a standard class card, and then you're like, you know what, we want to keep it as a part of the standard class. We don't want to start Hall of Faming standard class cards just yet, I guess.
Well, I mean, there's also the element that it's a base card, so it's a base classic card, so the changes to it, they're not something that you should really change, because in a sense, I guess you could say that they are the identity of a class. That's like me changing, well, not me, but Blizzard changing the way how Polymorph works.
Agreed.
So it has its weird moments where it should or shouldn't actually be happening. I think this one is one that a lot of people are going to feel very weird about. But
I kind of agree with you on that, but that's not what I think is going to make a lot of people feel weird. I feel really bad right now for Mage. I don't know if you guys saw that Ice Block is going to be going wild. Hall of Fame now.
You mean later on down the line? Yeah. Yeah, they were saying that we've seen discussions about moving it to Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Moving cards to the Hall of Fame occurs at the start of a Hearthstone year, which will occur at the first expansion in the release of 2018. And that Hall of Fame is where we want to avoid moving cards mid-year.
Yeah.
You already know that they're going to have to change something out to kind of give them the viability of staying alive if they take out Ice Block.
Trust me, they have more things than just Ice Block. They have way too much sustain. Jaina is just one obvious one. What else?
I mean, Frostless Jaina?
Yeah, Frostless Jaina is just one of the very obvious ones.
I agree. quest is definitely gonna see a lot less play now because the whole the key component of the quest was ice block, buying you that one extra turn to set up. So that's gone. I'm actually playing it now, and it's very important.
Oh, if I get interject for a second, we don't even know what's actually in store for next year. So we don't even know if there's going to be a replacement for Ice Block, just like how there was a replacement for certain other cards during the time. For instance, well, it's pretty what's the word for it? It's pretty unimportant, but for instance, Drain Life. It got replaced with Drain Souls.
Yep.
And they replaced it anyways. So we can't even say that there's not going to be any replacement for Ice Block later on down the line. Let's say, once you take lethal damage, you gain 8 armor or something as a secret or as a spell or something. They might add immediate spell effects for all we know.
That's true. That is true.
Like, you're right. There's not a whole lot, and more by then, we would also more than likely see a new expansion as well. So there's gonna be another 30 plus cards that's probably gonna be coming out that may cover up some of the stuff that's being removed. Like Vitalis is saying, yeah, a lot of things have to change because of these particular changes. So Innervate, a lot of Druid decks have to completely change once that actually comes into effect, which may more than likely happen tomorrow. Of course, Mage has to change whenever that change actually happens. And of course, like, anytime a nerf happens, cards and decks have to get changed so that they become more viable to replace whatever has been nerfed. And sometimes even the nerf cards still work fairly well. It's just when and where. So, for example, Fiery War Axe, which is the next one, it's being jumped up from costing 2 mana to 3 mana. Which
now, see, this is something I just really don't understand. I mean, I get it, Pirate Warrior, but really, there are a lot of decks that counter aggro, and this is just even in Legend they use a lot of decks to counter this.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm sorry for cutting you off. It's just it bothers me a lot to see something so insignificant. Well, it's not insignificant, but still, it doesn't seem like it falls under the immediacy, not immediacy. It falls under the importance, the same importance as Druid nerfs.
Agreed.
That's just how I see it.
I wholeheartedly agree with you there. Like, they just kind of slip that in there. They'd be like, all right, we know y'all been, so stop. Here's your nerf for Pirate Warrior. You know, it's no longer going to be a top tier deck as it would like to be, because, you know, it can no longer play that perfect curve.
Exactly. Every single person that's over rank 5, you don't have to worry about this anymore.
Yeah, so, you know, you can survive till turn 8, at least. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, I think it actually goes a little bit further than that, because there was also the issue with Arena and weapons coming up a lot when you're selecting, like, which cards you want to play. So if it's costing more, then you're going to see it maybe a little bit less, or along with the 3 cost cards instead of the 2 cost cards, so you can actually start picking other things as well.
Especially 2 cost class cards, because
Yes.
I think for Warrior there are actually very few of them.
Exactly.
Like, I'm looking into crafting now, there's actually very few for Warrior in terms of 2 cost cards.
So this has a pretty big change for Arena, especially.
No, I actually still think that War Axe is a good card to get in Arena still, because Warrior, you forget, Warrior doesn't have that much cards to draft when it comes to Arena, so they need as much, or as many removals or as many weapons as they can get.
Yeah.
So it makes no difference whether it's 2 mana or 3 mana. But 4 mana,
No,
you're
it doesn't make
putting
sense.
it at the same.
Now you're just being
Yeah,
stupid. Fire
Yeah.
Warriors got to at least deal extra damage.
exactly. Or give it an extra charge if you're gonna make it 4 mana.
Yeah. But looking at it, it's like, dude, why y'all being so stingy? Like, why y'all being like that? Because looking at, I have Hearthstone open right now. Looking at all the other weapons, they're conditional. They're 3 mana, 3/2 conditional weapons, and I don't understand why they would do that. Like, it really doesn't help Warrior at all, and it's not even fair, to be honest. Yeah, Pirate Warrior is a problem, but you still gotta be fair. Eagle
Well-
Bow is a 3 mana, 3/2, gain 1 durability during secrets.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The
You know,
other option
Rally
for them
Blade-
was to change its attack from 3 to 2, but they're saying that didn't feel intuitive enough.
That defeats the purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah, that really does.
And then you've got
yeah.
Eagle Hunter's weapon just like sitting there, pretty much doing almost the exact same thing. So
Yeah, but again, like when you look at the weapons, they're still conditional weapons. Rallying Blade gives your, Divine Shield minions 1/1. That's conditional. And then Shadow Blade is you're immune for that turn. So the extra mana is actually accounted for. Like
You bring up a good point. Wow. You actually
yeah,
bring
so
up a really good
the Perdition's Blade for Rogue again. It's a combo card. So, even though it's a 3 mana 2/2, you have deal 1 damage as a regular battle cry or deal 2 damage. So essentially it becomes a deal 4 damage card, which justifies the 3 mana 2/2, which is
Yep.
fine. So, that's worth the condition. And then, Obsidian Shard is a broken card in itself, but at least once you play cards from another class, which is highly likely, but you still have to play those cards to get your 0 cost 3/3 weapon, which is understandable.
Here's my issue. Is it actually fair to say that because it's a class card, it doesn't deserve an extra ability or an extra stipulation, something like that, an extra like effect? Sorry. I really feel as if that should not be the case. If you're gonna give it, 3 mana, it's only fair to say that it should fall in line with the same other weapons that everyone else has.
Mechanics.
But
It should follow the same mechanics. Yes, I agree.
But let me also play the devil's advocate here. Warriors, I'm not quite sure about this. Wait, who do you think has more weapons, Shaman or Warrior?
Shaman.
I feel like
Shaman. Hands down.
Warrior used to be the one with the most weapons, but now it's changed a lot since then. No, sorry,
it's not even just. No, it's not even that because there are weapons, but then Shaman just has more stuff that it can do just to attack the board as well. Like, what does Warrior have? It's got Brawl. It's got. Oh, God, I forgot the other card that does damage to everything on the board. But
Sleep with the Fishes, Whirlwind. Despite used to be a thing. What was the new weapon that wins? Execute. What else?
Right. So I think.
Yeah.
I think Whirlwind was it, but Execute. That still comes with a condition. Something has to be, damaged.
Damaged. Yeah.
Whereas Shaman's got a bunch of stuff. It can devolve your entire deck. Your entire field. It can kill off everything on the field. You can target things. It's got a lot of stuff that it can do just to kill off whatever you have. Or do damage directly to face.
Okay, I stand corrected. Warrior has 7 weapons. And Shaman has 6. It's still pretty damn close.
Still pretty close. I would say Shaman still wins just because of the sheer amount of spells it has that can do damage as well.
And the fact that it does so much more. Spirit Claws, which that nerf was much needed. Jade Claws, I can it's a reasonable weapon. I can agree with the 2 mana 2/2 overload 1. Summon a Jade minion, a Jade idol.
As long as it has the overload, it's justified.
Yeah, but summoning a Jade idol, that's still a little iffy for me. You know,
Talking about
it's a double condition guard, which is kind of okay for summoning, I guess. So it kind of limits you. So okay, I can agree with it. I can kind of agree with it.
here's another weird one. So that's a little weird. The hex change from 3 to 4. Since we were just talking about shaman and everything like that, what is your take on like this particular change? Because I know a lot of people are saying like this makes it a little bit harder. You can't really save yourself if it's early game and someone's going really aggro. But I'm seeing it more like, okay, well, mages haven't really had something like this either. So
I feel as if they actually, I can't be mad at it. It's a fair nerf. It's just no one was actually complaining about it. That's the issue I have with it. It's basically a transform spell. It falls under the description as transform, and the mage and shaman are the only two classes that actually have this ability. But was it really necessary? Answer? No. Quick answer, no. Long answer, probably, because there are actually some, and I might have to strain this. Some there might be some reasoning behind this later on in later expansions, because if it's 3 mana and you could just play whatever else you want after that, then they need to take into account that hex costs way less to use, so shaman could do way more in that span of 10 mana. So it's whatever, but it's not something that's really affecting shaman. It's more like saying, hey, we saw the shaman is a bit OP, so, and then we decided to just change one thing, and then still make the rest of the class just slightly overpowered than a lot of other classes.
now,
yeah.
One thing that I saw that they said was that even though it's not played in aggressive shaman decks, they're making a forward-thinking change. So that kind of goes along with what you were saying. But to change the overall identity of the class, I'm hearing that fan again.
Sorry.
Okay. But they want to apparently change the overall identity of the class. They're using that to keep that in mind, saying that it avoids shaman cards that function as direct and powerful removal, and they specifically call this card also a silence card, which, I mean, yeah, technically when you think about it, it is a silence. And that does not follow along with the identity of the card. They were saying that silence really belongs to the priest. But
Really? Okay, I didn't know priests appropriated a form of removal. Okay, fine.
Yeah, they quite literally said priest is the exception to this rule. Silence is a part of their class identity.
All right, that's Blizzard. All right. I have nothing to say. I have a lot to say about that. What? Blizzard, come on, man. Okay. Silence has been an ability given to everyone. It's been a common card to use since the beginning of Hearthstone. You cannot say that it's exclusively a priest card. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second.
But they're not saying it's exclusively a priest card, but that's like one of the main class abilities to silence. And I believe, yeah, they actually do have the most silence cards inside as a class. I could be wrong.
They have a lot of silence cards. They have more silence cards than any other class. I could say this as a fact because the only other class that has silence is Shaman, and they have Earthshock.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could prove me wrong, go right ahead. I don't know.
No, I mean, like that I think that's kind of where the point that they were trying to make was. like they have the most, so that is kind of like who they are. They are the silence. And even with the Lich King like encounter, he's like silence priest, and like that's actually part of the thing.
You know, that one was funny. I actually applaud them for that one, but still, I don't agree with it. Nally, what do you think about it?
Nally, we can't hear you.
We can't hear. Yeah.
Oops, sorry, for not fine. It was a weird one. It was a weird one to read. Hex.
Yeah.
But like you say, it may have something to do with an upcoming, with the upcoming expansion. Maybe there's something in there that they like. You know what? We need to address this now because we know even in testing with us, we see it as a problem. So let's do it now. Let's nip it in the butt before it becomes another innovate or another ultimate infestation. Something that everybody's like, oh, y'all need to fix Hex now. And now we have to send up another update for that. Let's add that into what we want to do it now because we know that it's a problem and go from there.
But
That's the only other thing I can think of.
Why not do that when you launch the new thing, so it's like not a change that affects everything up until that the actual change happens?
Blizzard, they're lazy.
I have no clue. They probably just wanted to have 5 cards that they're updating, and you know they just like, you know what, let's put in X now. I don't know.
That was a little weird for me. The next one is Murloc War Leader, where they pretty much took out the ability that War Leader had, which was giving other Murlocs +2 attack and +1 health, and it's removing that +1 health, so they only have +2 attack. Now, I know before the show you guys had a lot to say about this.
A lot.
So,
sorry, I had to get that out of my system before I talk. Okay. I know a lot. I know a lot of nerds that are going to have a lot of complaints about this.
Oh yeah, they're going home to cry.
Yeah. Oh, just that 1 health nerf actually will be able to break Murloc anything. Yeah, yep. Just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit, because you can't save any of your Murloc cards with just War Leader anymore. Now you actually have to add what's the name of that Murloc card that gives it
the Cold Lightseer.
Yeah, you actually have to add Cold Lightseer now, which actually
extends your mana usage.
Not just extends it. It dampens your Murloc synergy by a lot.
Yeah, because most people don't run Cool Seer, other than probably Shaman, who has to play a Murloc, or
just budget versions.
Yeah, exactly. And like I was saying before the stream had started, the mechanic for War Leader is broken, and they know it. Blizzard knows that the mechanic is broken, because I've seen on multiple occasions, because of the first come first serve layout that Hearthstone has. Everything dies in succession of whoever was played first and XYZ. I've seen on multiple occasions where playing a potion to deal 2 damage to the board doesn't actually kill off all the Murlocs. It'll kill the War Leader first, and then the other Murlocs go back to 1 health. So it's a broken mechanic. They're like, you know what? This needs to be fixed now before it gets worse.
Is it a bug?
It may be a bug, or it may be a bug that they just can't rectify. I don't know, but I've seen it happen, and it's annoying. Like, it is annoying when you're alright, clear field, spell damage, boom, everything dies. Just a War Leader dies, and 2 or 3 Murlocs survive. It's like, concede. Fuck this game. That's it. I'm done. I'm out. I can go downstairs and play some Rainbow Six or something. But just, like, I have the card pulled up and just looking at it to other buffs. The Grimscale Oracle is a 1 mana 1/1. gives 1 attack. Okay, that's understandable. Cold Seer, give you all the Murlocs 2 attack, and it's a 3 mana 2/3. War Leader is a bit OP. You know, it's a 3 mana 3/3 that gives 3, 2 attack, 1 health. That's a bit much. It is a bit much, especially played on curve.
Apparently,
You know.
their justification for changing Murloc War Leader was that they could have done one out of two things. They could have changed War Leader, or they could have changed Rockpool Hunter. For those who don't know, Rockpool Hunter is a card that gives +2 health.
Yeah.
Rockpool Hunter gives +1/+1.
Yeah, +1/+1. It's a 2 mana 2/3 that gives +1/+1.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Sorry.
2 mana,
You're right. I was thinking Cold Seer. Cold Light Seer.
Yeah.
That's fine.
+1/+1. But the only thing, the reason why they said they prefer doing it to War Leader was because it apparently has extra advantages to changing just that one card.
It's a board buff. It's a board buff.
Extra? You think extra? Okay. Now that basically changes the whole shift of the game. That one card is able to buff everything you have already on the board. Imagine if,
about to come down.
Just for instance, Murloc Paladin. They don't even have to have. You don't even have to use War Leader to buff up their Murlocs. They have every single buff in the book to use to buff it up. And on top of that, they have Murloc War Leader that's just making it even more retardedly OP. Now call me crazy, but
crazy.
All right, that wasn't the point, but still. So who else notices that War Leader it's just overwhelmingly unnecessary to have extra health? Like,
I don't know. When you play it has helped. Now, granted, it's not needed, but for those who've played it, it can really save like your minions' your minions' life to then help you win the game. Which, granted, that's kind of like you want whatever you can get, but yeah.
Honestly,
I can see where it's broken.
The only way for it to keep that +1 health, make it a 4 mana. A 4 mana 3/3 that gives you. It'll have to be a 4 mana 3/3, or you take away something, which is fair. And you can't really give it a 1/1. I guess they don't want to give 1/1 to all of the Murlocs because the 2 attack is what made the War Leader so strong.
Exactly.
This would have made more sense. Just make it 4 mana and make it give your minions +1/+1. That's it.
Your Murlocs +1/+1.
Well, even then, that's still pretty strong.
Yeah.
Oh. No, okay, I retract my statement. I'm sorry, I'm stupid.
No.
But
like.
Sorry,
go ahead.
No. So just looking at the other buff cards. The 3 mana 3/3 pirate card that gives your other pirates 1/1. That's reasonable. It's giving other pirates 1/1. But it's the pirate curve is not as strong as the Murloc curve. The Murloc curve is very strong.
Oh no! You have to take into account that it's an epic. Like most epics have that overpowered ability even for that amount of mana. Or did you forget that? It's been
That's true.
It's been prevalent since the beginning. So, for instance, let me think. Let's see. What's the name of that card? The 5 mana epic that copies a minion.
Faceless Shambler.
Faceless Manipulator. Close.
Yeah.
That card, it's strong, but it's supposed to be strong because it's an epic. It's supposed to be a little bit strong because it's an epic. So we also have to take that into account.
Okay.
So keeping it for 3 mana and still having that +2 attack, that seems pretty alright to me. I'll be honest.
I agree.
It's just a +1 health that has been causing a lot of bugs as of recently, or mechanics, as you say.
Yeah, and that is the main problem. Like, I implore you to check it out. let's do some friendlies afterwards, and you can see
Alright.
where trying to kill them off it becomes a problem because it's like, yo, what? And then don't have 2 war leaders on the field. Then that's both of them because they both now have to die.
Yep.
For the effect to take place on everything else. And it's
The
like,
interaction actually becomes even more buggy at that point.
exactly. So now you kill one war leader, the buff goes down. You kill the other one, then you kill everything, which is way more costly.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You're using 3 cards to get rid of like
What?
just 2.
Just
Sorry, not
yeah.
you're using 3 cards to get rid of an entire board instead of 2.
Yeah.
Well, if you use 2, I understand if you use 2, but if you have to use 3 to get rid of a board, don't you think that's just a bit ludicrous?
Dude, when Flame Strike doesn't burn them to hell, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And Flame Strike is meant to burn you to hell.
Talking about whole boards, though. The
Yes.
next one, Spreading Plague.
Honestly, I'm comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with the way it is.
Now, for those who are unaware, Spreading Plague's cost was 5 mana, and it's now becoming 6 mana. The exact same card, which is, summon 1/5 Scarab with Taunt. And, if your opponent has more minions than you currently do on the board, then you get another one. Until, either you get as many as they do, or you have a complete board. So, I mean, it like you're saying, it kind of makes sense. Apparently, they considered changing it to 7 instead of 6, since it's currently the top performing card in Jade and Taunt Druid decks.
And yeah.
Top performing card in Druid? Hold on.
Yep. I can believe that.
So we're gonna ignore the 10 mana card in the room. 10 mana elephant.
It's apparently it's not played as much as Spreading Plague.
Apparently.
Wow.
Like it is,
Okay.
I'm guessing it gets a lot more play because you can play 2 on turn 10 if need be. You play a 10 the following turn instead of burning out your 10 mana one shot. But it definitely gets the job done. I'll tell you that. And I can understand the reasoning behind making it 6 instead of a 7 because Innovate is now 1 mana, so basically it's a counterfeit coin balance. So I'm cool with it.
All right, I agree with you on that, and then I also see what you meant when you said, oh, it's more played. I just realized without thinking is that it's also played in Aggro Druid and Token Druid. So I didn't take that into account. My apologies. But also, I also understand why they would change it to 7 because there's actually this 4 mana. Is this a 4 mana 2/3? It's that one card that actually buffs taunts.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's actually I think it's a 2 or 3 mana. I'm looking for it right now.
So even if they make it a 6, it'll still create a turn 10 play if the opponent decides to completely full the board. So, well, not full the board, but you know what I mean. Like if they put like 5 minions on the board, they could just Spreading Plague and then that 4 mana card.
It's 4 mana. Yeah, strong shell scavenger. Give your other minion your taunt minions 2/2, which is ridiculous.
It is. It really is.
A 4 mana 2/3 give your taunts 2/2. Come on, bro. You gotta.
I don't think you understand how ridiculous that is.
You gotta epic that card.
The reason being is because they could have actually weeded out the whole 6 to 4 10 combo, but they decided they decided not to do that and just let Druid have their impenetrable great wall developed by Trump.
Yeah, the Trump wall, the real Trump wall.
Exactly.
But it's honestly Taunt Druid is actually a pretty good deck. I gotta admit, I've played against it. It's really good. It's very challenging. It does require you to think to get your way through it, especially when Crypt Lord is involved. That card needs to burn. That should not be a common card.
You understand?
That's come on, man. I need y'all to charge more for people to be crafting this.
That needs to at least be an. You understand how hard that's been hurting people lately?
Oh yeah.
Since you guys want to talk about cards that are hurting people, I think there's one card that we do need to talk about. I think you guys know,
Alright.
know which card it is.
Infestation.
Ultimate Infestation.
Uh,
Now, they've been saying that their team has been discussing making changes to it, since it feels bad to lose to. Now,
feels bad, man. Feels real bad.
they're saying their data, however, shows them how good each individual card performs in a deck relative to other cards in that deck. And Spreading Plague ended up being the best performing card in Jade and Taunt. Well, Innovative was in the top 3. Ultimate Infestation, was somewhere around the middle.
10 out of 10. Best card. 10 out of 10. No, literally, 10 out of 10. Sorry. I had to.
Ultimate Infestation was somewhere around the middle of the best performing card. But it felt much more powerful since it has a huge effect when played. They considered changing all the mentions of number 5 in the Ultimate Infestation to 4, or removing one of the effects entirely, with other changes that they are making to the Druid. Ramping out Ultimate Infestation before turn 10 should happen less often, so they're leaving it as is.
And I honestly feel that's fine. As long as these suckers can't ramp while I'm on turn 2 to turn 6, double innovate into Ultimate Infestation, I'm good. and that right there was the game killer. That you getting so lucky and you're getting a perfect fucking curve into Ultimate Infestation and getting a brand new hand. That's ridiculous. That's broken. That's truly broken.
I truly believe that. Well, I don't really agree with them keeping it as it is, because I hope you understand what card draw is. There's actually been there actually has been research according to Crypt that one card draw equals to 1 mana. So if you take that into account, that's basically 5 mana already. And then gaining armor is already, so let's say gain armor is 3 mana, because you know Warrior has that 3 mana gain 5, and they even draw. You know what? Let's say gaining 5 armor is 2 mana. Because the extra 1 mana is because of the card.
So
draw.
we're at 7 now.
So it's at 7. Now, let's also take into account that they also can deal 5 damage, and you can put a 5/5 minion on the board. On average, you're only supposed to put a 5/5 on the board because you have 5 mana. The average stat for each minion, according to mana, is supposed to be according to their stats. So 5/5 is supposed to be an average 5 mana card. So that's an extra 5 already on top of that. So that's 12 mana. And now we go back to the spell damage. Now, you already see, for instance, there is this card called Starfire, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
For 6 mana. For 5 mana, you deal 5 damage and you draw a card. That's the extra 1 mana on top of it. That makes sense.
Okay.
Now, why would you make so you add that 5 mana on top of that? That's 17 mana already. So why would you give Druid an epic? Now, it being an epic doesn't even justify it, because there are some reasonably overpowered epics in the game.
Legendary.
For instance, yeah, the Ultimate Infestation falls under the legendary category already, and even then, it's still a little more overpowered than average legendaries. So, and that's saying a lot. It's 17 mana compressed to 10, and you're giving them that much of a discount to basically gain some kind of footing back on the board. That just makes no sense to me. Please tell me where that makes any sense.
Well, when you put it like that, you got a point. You know,
Okay,
like they say,
I've got a counter argument to it.
Okay.
This is not an infestation. This is the ultimate infestation.
Oh, don't give idiots.
That's all I got.
Oh my god. That's not even a valid argument, but it's funny.
Nally, you got anything better?
I don't even know, bro. Like, this is definitely one of those cards that is just, it really is problematic. I didn't even take into consideration the spell damage in it. Honestly, I completely, like, if Druid happens to have a spell damage card, that's way more damage on top of that.
Exactly.
Like, would it, like, that's, okay, now I get why Big Druid is a problem. Malagos with Ultimate Infestation is a big problem, because that's now 10 damage. Draw 5 cards, gain 5 armor, summon a 5/5 minion for 10 mana.
That's assuming you can get Malagos on the board. It's statistically it's supposed to be impossible for you to keep Malagos and play that at the same time.
Not if you get I think I'm on the field.
What?
Yasiraj. You could get lucky enough to have Yasiraj on the field, and you know Malagos come on the field at the same time. Going up against a priest, say, you know, priest probably will have a harder time trying to kill it, being a dragon would.
Okay, yeah, you have a point. I didn't take that into account.
So if Arthur's listening, priests don't have all answers, bro. They don't got all the answers, Sway.
Vitalis, you still there, man? If
They
so,
got the cards, they don't got the answers.
let us know.
So, Ruthless Falcon says, "Why does your chain look like paper clips glued together?"
Cause it is, bro. It's like, do you even faction, bro?
He has a point. Oh man, fashion has become a lot more lenient nowadays.
Yeah. But infestation, definitely, they really do have to address it. And like I was saying, playing in the last Tavern Brawl, dude, I felt scummy, I felt dirty, I felt dingy, but it was fun. And that was proof that, like, that card is truly broken. Like,
How do you justify 60-something wins in
dude,
one day?
I actually stopped at 63 wins.
Hold on. Please show the stream the amount of wins you got in one day playing that deck.
Oh,
Please.
you mean launch day?
Yes.
Okay, let me pull it up. But it was redonkulous.
While you
It was
guys,
fun.
while you guys get that, I want people to also be aware that Hearthstone is actually, in terms of tournaments, the number 7 ranked game, having dealt out over 620 tournaments so far, having over 1,387 players, and giving out over $9 million.
That amount of players seems pretty low for that amount of prize pool. Hold on.
Actually, no, because if you take a look at Heroes of the Storm, they only have 854, and they're actually ranked 6. Counter-Strike only has 2,608, ranked number 5.
No, but how much people is in Heroes of the Storm competing regularly?
Well, it depends, but this is including everybody.
Oh, sorry. I know the amount that you told me, but how much money is being put into?
For the 369 tournaments that they've had, which is a little more than half of Hearthstone. Well, yeah, it's 9,160,000 roughly. So
Compared to
they're
the
spending out more money.
1.7 billion? I feel like they cut off just a little more scratch than that, to be honest. That's a little bit. But I guess, taking into consideration hosting events, locations, do they put up, like, the question is, do they actually put up tournament players as they come, depending on who they are, I guess all that stuff kind of comes into consideration as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if there are top players, maybe I don't know.
No, I actually think Hearthstone has a lot more concurrent players than new players. Reason being is because that's just really low. That's just you just told me they have more than half. You have more than half of the tournaments being issued for Heroes of the Storm. So Hearthstone is dishing out a lot of money for these prizes. Like
in comparison,
well, the community.
In comparison, they're actually paying out less than Heroes of the Storm. Because if you think about it,
what?
Yeah, Heroes of the Storm only has 369 tournaments. Hearthstone has 620. And Heroes of the Storm actually has paid out more.
I thought you said more than. Sorry, oh my god, I didn't hear you out properly. No, I thought you said more than half.
Yeah, Heroes of the Storm has a little more than half of Hearthstone, but they've paid more money to their players.
Slightly more.
Slightly more. But then again, the number one is Dota 2, which is at like $126 million.
Oh yeah, we're not even discussing that.
Yeah, so.
I learned it. But I found the picture.
Okay.
Blood Mage standard 1 day of gameplay.
45
How
wins.
do you justify that?
45 wins in the first day of playing with Druid. When I saw it, I was like, you know what? This is the perfect time to use this. And once you have Ultimate Infestation turn 1, that's game. Like, you Ultimate Infestation into what every ramp card that Druid has to deal attack, and you just have the 3 mana immune your turn. Oh, that's it. That was it. Like, the first time that happened to me, I was fucking shocked. I sat there and I clapped him on because I was like, you go, bro. You go. And I just crafted my own, I built my own version, and it's been fun. It was hella fun. Like I said, I capped off at 63. That was it. At that point, I started to feel sick of myself. I was like, you're pouring yourself out cold. Stop. It ain't worth it. And I quit. And that was it. But that right there in itself is proof that the card's broken. Truly broken.
I completely agree. I'm not sure what they're gonna really be doing with it, but it does need some changes.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what comes up that kind of fills in some of these gaps that have now kind of happened, and how these decks are gonna change. I don't see Paladin, like Murloc Paladin, changing too much because of War Leader, but I definitely see Druid changing up quite a bit.
Honestly, Paladin, Murloc Paladin is definitely gonna be affected. That health was key. That was crucial.
See the
buff, the small buff from Cool Seer, Seer was, outside, was just in the range of Flame Strike. But then War Leader took it out of the realm of Flame Strike. So it kind of took away that one extra health is one extra turn that you know how to deal with that. That's
what are we talking about?
No, War Leader. I was telling him, okay. Cool Sayer would give a lot of 1 mana attack, 1 health Murlocs, basically 2 health, 4 to get them in or out of the range of Flame Strike. Flame Strike is one of the biggest board clears there is in terms of damage. And War Leader kind of took them right over that edge just to keep them out of that range. But now that that's gone, they're more susceptible, and it's a lot easier to ping down and kill off.
Okay,
because of that buff.
It still depends on a lot of different things. So, for example, the deck I currently run for my Paladin, I don't really use War Leader so much, and actually, even before Knights of the Frozen Throne, I haven't used War Leader all that much. He's more there just to be a card that gives me a boost to hit face a little bit more. But overall, he's almost always the one that they're going to try and target down first. So his lifespan on the board doesn't last all that long.
Yeah.
So buffs that actually last longer, those are the ones that actually have more use for me, I guess you could say.
Agreed.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
that's why I say I don't really see Murloc Paladin changing too much, because in a sense Murloc Paladin is buff Paladin, and buff Paladin is in a sense Murloc Paladin, because you're always trying to buff up whatever you got.
Yeah, but it's definitely gonna have an effect on Shaman Murlocs.
Oh, most definitely.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Because like even War Leader into War Leader made it a 5-4 instead of a 5 instead of a that just 2 War Leaders being 5-4s.
Mm-hmm.
That's hella strong. That's hella strong. And then giving everything else that 2-1 buff was hella strong. So now that's gonna eliminate a lot, because honestly, Murloc Shaman may not even get played as much. That quest is kind of gonna drop a bit, because now your solid buff kind of gone.
Yep.
So what do you do there? Because they don't. Because Shaman has no buffs. They have nothing to say. You know what? I'm gonna buff up this card a bit.
No, I was saying, it's amazing how one health can make a difference. Ooh. Now you can actually think to yourself, okay, it doesn't get an extra.
I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah.
Well, that in itself can be kind of, you can maybe be focusing on that a little wrong. For example, I was playing my same buff Paladin. I got matched up against a Warlock. Guess which cards he played twice in a row?
Defile.
No. Nether Portal, I think it's
Hellfire?
called.
Oh.
The one that destroys everything on the board.
Yeah, he means that 8 mana card.
Yep.
Yeah.
He played
No,
that.
but that's a hard removal. Like you'll only see hard removals like that in control decks. Well, I can't say that. I can't say that for certainty. Yeah, Twisted Nether. There are a lot of decks that use certain hard removals, but in Warlock, I can say this with a fact that the only time you'll ever see something like that is if it's in a control version of a Warlock, which is like hand lock. Even if it's Demon Lock, even if it's some weird Kazakus lock. Still, the point is you'll only see it in control. So for you to give that reason is a bit sketchy at best.
I don't know. It still gives a very easy way to clear off the board, and also to feature opponent, because if you have all your buffs out, you've got everything you need already on the board. That means we've already played it. He then clears all of that off. You try to get back onto the field and reestablish yourself. He plays that again. You got nothing left.
That's true. But that's just one class. The only thing Rogue can do is be like, you know what? I'm gonna push all this back to your hand, stall you for a bit, and let you respend all that mana, while I try to continue to set up what I have to set up. Priest, they'll have to spend 5 mana to do that, because then you play the potion and then destroy anything with less than 2 attack or 2 or less attack. Paladin, the only thing they got is a quality consecrate or a quality pyromancer. Mage got flame strike. Hunter's got nothing. They screwed. They up the creek, more or less.
Well, actually, don't they have a trap that does damage to everything on the board if you attack something?
Yeah, but that's a secret.
Yeah.
And that's a 2 mana secret, but that only
no
deals
one would willingly.
No, it only deals 2 damage.
Yeah.
No. On top of that, no one will willingly play into a secret knowing that explosive trap is one of the common secrets.
Yeah, exactly. So that really doesn't help. Druids got nothing.
Druids have swipe. That's it. Well, Druids have swipe. They have this one is a card that's hardly being used, but whatever the 5 mana card is that either deals 5 or does 2 damage across the board.
Oh, you mean Starfall?
Yeah, that one's hardly being used.
Yeah, because it's only 2 damage, and if you don't have a it's not like Blizzard where you actually deal 2 damage and
Freeze.
You freeze. That's an actual stall card. Dealing 2 damage. All right, I have to swipe, then Starfall to hopefully kill everything.
Which falls under the 2-card removal rule. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
That doesn't help. That doesn't help at all.
Yep.
And Pirate, Warrior, they got the best card of all. I'm gonna just throw all of your cards into a thingam, and only one's gonna survive, bro. And that one, I'm gonna focus on that.
That is hard removal right there.
Yeah,
that isn't hard removal. That's hard removal.
I know, right? With an extra, because
with that extra halitosis added to it.
Exactly.
Well,
because the
don't
worst
forget,
part is, it's not destroying everything on the field. It could possibly one of 2 things can happen. Either your card's gonna stay, or my card's gonna stay. But only one to stay. And that right there is actually a good payoff.
Yeah.
Like Brawl is probably one of my favorite AoEs, to be honest. Like I hate seeing it when it's played on me, but when I play it, it is the sweetest. Oh, that's sweet like nectar.
I'd have to agree with him on that one.
And to see what emerges from a Brawl, dude, it's the funniest thing ever.
It's also best when your highest attack or health card
yes,
is the one that stays on the board.
Yes, then they're just sitting there like I don't know if y'all watch Stream Field. They're just sitting there like shit. That's it. We got nothing. We can't do anything else after that. We're screwed. That's it. Because that's now face plus whatever else is in hand.
And no, here is the other thing too. There are actually times when I was playing friendlies, mostly against Enraged, but when I was playing friendlies, and whenever I saw this guy play, this was during the time when you could still use what's the name of that card that's in Wild that triggers battle cries twice? The 3-mana legendary.
Not Brand. Yeah, Brand.
Yeah, Brand.
Bronzebeard? No, is it Bronzebeard? Okay, but still, when he played that on top of Double Dirty Rat, and then I see him play Brawl, and then after that, I see him still have that one card that he was hoping to get, and still gets it, and then that happens successively, like that. So in succession, sorry. That just seems like that just seems like RNG is out to get you.
That's called RNG.
That's called salt triggering.
That's called salt inducing, not triggering. That's yeah.
Yeah, you just walk outside and jump in the pool one time.
Almost avoided a suicide joke there just now. Anyway, well, yeah, moving on.
Well,
but
I mean, overall though, even with the changes, Hearthstone is a game that's, and it kind of shows with the recent animation they did. It's a game for fun. It's a game for just having fun together with friends. And even when you get to that salt level that I think Omega is talking about, it's you still sit back and you gotta play the nice orc.
Yeah, you're right. I actually did. I got to say I very much enjoyed the quality of the video. Being in production myself, it was hell of enjoyable, and I like when they do stuff with that. But clearly the whole tavern video was basing casual. That wasn't ranked, so let's not even go. Because you would have chewed her alive.
Exactly. Oh.
Trust me, they had to squelch and remove him from the building.
That's not nice. That's not nice.
But it's true.
It's the truth.
Don't let me. Dude, this year at a tournament, and you're sitting across from a little kid, and he gets the stupid RNG. Dude, y'all gotta peel me off of that desk. And then, don't let him be a cocky little, sitting there emoting straight through. I'm gonna be like, y'all better come get your boy. Because this kind of awesome putting him in this game and in real life ain't funny.
I hate it. I hate it when that happens. No, when you. Oh, and you see them blatantly doing it. Oh,
Yeah, dude.
oh.
Honestly, I've never started emoting squelching so much people until as of recent. I was like, you know what? Them that, especially. Oh God, Warlock. When you're playing a Warlock and they know they have you, I greet you. I greet you, and I was like, you know what? Before I just put my fist through my phone, let me squelch him right quick.
For me,
Just to make sure.
it's not Warlock, it's Warrior. Warriors, yeah, it's pretty much always greetings, or thank you, or like.
And it used to be the all ever so powerful sorry, which had to be removed, by the way, because of the blatant abuse of the button.
Feels bad, man. Definitely feels bad. Tell you that.
But I think we're probably gonna end this week's episode here. We've kind of covered a lot this episode.
Yeah.
So I want to just remind everyone that we, of course, have Esports Wrap on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Tech Talk on Thursdays at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Unless, of course, Hurricane Irma comes along a little bit early and stops this week's episode.
It ain't looking too good. It's a Category 5. That's
yeah.
That's nothing to joke with.
Dude, grab your surfboard. Just ride the wave. It's the only thing we can do.
No, bro. You look at this video from Burma. Like, trees are literally like being stripped away, and they're like just going down the road. No.
Hey, you're right, dude. Don't forget, Freeport got hit hard.
Yes.
That's true.
Entire infrastructure was gone.
Yep.
Dude, only thing and my apartment got destroyed. I tried everything I could, and I sat there as the water just poured in, and I was like, you know what?
Oh, good.
Whatever happens, happens. So
Good night.
at this point, dude, if it comes, it comes. What it does, it's gonna do regardless of how I feel, and whatever happens, happens. Like that's how I am right now. I was in 6 inches of water in my apartment, so ain't nothing I gonna do but enjoy the water.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I hope the best for everyone that's affected by it. And that's
You're
the
right.
most I could say.
You're right. Just put duct tape on your windows just in case. Save your car a bit if you could.
Yep.
So I think you could do.
I'd also like to thank everyone that's followed during this show. So we've had a few more that joined the following: Chewy Breed, or B-R-Eed, B-Reed, however you want to say that. Patrick Dodorito, Stuart Birmingham, Sophia Weiss, House Day Fam, I Fixed Curry, Prinep, Vale Parking, Knitted 310, Rad Omonis, That Guy 3303, Sir Benid 7, Fabian Le Guziamon, Am I Girl 78, Epictaphia?
Dude, you not just fall for that.
Huh?
Then
Wait.
there was an I girl.
No, Am I Girl?
Oh, I thought you said and I.
No.
girl.
I'm not falling for that. I'm not falling for that. No. Am I Girl has fall. Am I Girl 76, and then forget.
Just F to 187.
Efficia, Squishy Buns 118, Puff Pass 428, Powerman 145, Jacobton, Kratos 9268, Bubba Duck number 2. What happened to number 1? Great
Bubba
Saiya Man, Vivacious Giraffe, 2D Pots.
We'll know in the prequel. Trust me.
Frank is Cool 14, Gustavo Tavares, Willow J8, Nash Iya, Xenon, Wo JRNJDIJ, bunch of letters. TJ Bradhurst, Nelso474, Elrybug, Gurin1101, Analasa, Kaylee Mockler, XS Priskolek, XX, Murmur Tunsal 35, Faith Kaplan, Caparogan. There's a lot of people.
I thought that said Rogaine. I thought, oh, I was going to destroy that one.
Hasakin 7676, Hazo in Ho 899, Angler 2222, Frank and Agil 1456, Vladimir Niko Dorlov 080916. That sounds like a birthday. My Destiny 3456, Hannah Siglin S Haskin,
Yep.
F4LCOAZERA. And
Dude, you sound like you need a dictionary translation.
I know, right? The last person, I think it was just now, was Viden Ho PX. Thank you all
Wow.
for following for this episode. Woo.
These obscure names, though.
I know, right?
Dude, I've seen some online. It's just too funny. They're just too funny. But you gotta look out for those N-I or N-E.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
E's and K's. You gotta look out for them. They trying to troll.
Yep.
Yeah, but how are you gonna be Captain Rogaine, though?
You right? Okay. You gotta be careful of Dr. Preparation H.
Oh, you win that one. Okay.
With that, we will say thanks to Dr. Pepper. But yeah, thanks to everyone for watching, and hope to see you next episode, either Tech Talk or Esports Wrap. Until next time.